Hey, what is up, guys? True Pirate here, aka John, once again bringing another Dragon Ball Super deck profile. This time it's a bit different with this deck profile. For the first thing, I didn't win anything with this deck because the cards aren't out yet, so haven't had the chance to win. So that feels bad. It's more of more of a theory craft. But today I'm joined with special guest Matthew Clark.
Hey guys, how you doing?
And Matty here has lent me his brain, dude, and we've crafted this deck together. And
The
this deck is
biggest.
the biggest of brains. So yeah, this is our take on using the yellow green Broly from the Magnificent Collection that's coming out, I believe, at the end of October. Is that right? Or
Yeah, I think it's literally the couple days before US Nationals, which is a week before our Nationals, which
yeah,
is pretty close. I think it's about 3 weeks away.
yeah, I love it when they, before the biggest event of the year, they release new sets, or new
Yeah,
cards.
and it's insane because it's legal as well. So it's just, yeah, get your Bruin hats on early.
Yeah, so that's what we did. No Patreon this time for me. This is our
No,
homebrew.
yeah.
So
Well,
yeah, so
I don't even think it was that big of a secret, to be honest. Like, I think a lot of people have an idea. They've recognized that the Broly that's been released in the Magnificent Collection's incredible, but it's like, how do you actually build around it properly? And I think we're onto something here at least.
Yeah, so the whole point of this deck is obviously trying to find the best green and yellow cards to abuse the arrival mechanic with the Broly as well as our Android 17 and 18 that you see here. And the thing as well is that there's not necessarily that many good cards that overlap between the two colors, but that's
Mm.
where Theory Crafting Genius, it's time to fight Son Goku, the like the heart of the deck, dude. Do you think Broly's
Oh,
defeat? Nah, 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 nah. Time to fight, best card.
he's literally the bow that wraps everything together into that nice parcel for us. It works so well.
It does. It's just like, yeah, so for those of you who don't know what Time to Fight does, since though this is probably some people's first time seeing this card, um, it's one of the cards included from the Broly starter deck. And
Almost an afterthought as well, isn't he?
no, it's like the main idea to cheat out the
Yeah.
game. Main idea. But no, so what the Goku does, he's got three different effects. The first effect is that if your opponent has four cards in rest mode, including their leader card, he becomes a one drop. So that's pretty insane. Paying that one yellow energy to play him out's really good. The second effect, which is one of the his balancing effect, you can only play one of him per turn, which is fair enough. And
Mhm.
then the third and the best effect on the card, the reason why this card's like out of four of obviously, is that active main, you place this card from your battle area in the drop area, then you choose any of your yellow or green Saiyans that has an energy cost of 3 or less and a battle power of 10,000 or less, and you play it in the field in rest mode. This is pretty insane because outside of Shenron decks, this is one of the few ways to bring back cards from the drop area, and I think
Mm.
the two important targets for this card is definitely the two Carbas in this deck, being Saiyan Teamwork Carba, as he is indeed a green and yellow Saiyan, and then Carba the Revoker being able to negate effects of certain cards, and that's obviously why the Explosive Spirit's in here as well, because he does meet the
Mm.
requirements. And the cool interaction with that, oh, my untap just popped off. Anyway, I'll just ignore
Yeah.
that. But
I think that might one as well.
Holy shit. But the cool thing about this Goku is that the time to fight does play cards in rest mode, but when you do play Explosive Spirit from your drop area, at the end of the turn it actually goes back to active mode,
Mm.
so it works as essentially a negate more or less. But there is a minor downside where you can't play any you can only play yellow and green cards for the duration of the turn with the Goku, but
Yeah.
like there's only one card you can play, which is Mirror, so it's not too big of a deal.
And the thing about him is like he's so good and he's only even better in this leader that you simply cannot not play him. It's just he's simply too good not to play him. So it's an interesting dynamic with when you actually look through the cards that you can play off time to fight. Pretty much, I think there's three cards that we've got five cards on the deck that you can play off him, but you'd only choose four of them. Revoker was kind of like, when we were making the deck, he was kind of like a bit of an afterthought of, just chuck him in, he might be a cute idea. But in a lot of really niche matchups, he's actually super duper clutch. Like, I'm thinking of like U6 Carver against the Champa and Vardos, just switching that off and then going in on like that turn 3, turn 4. And you can do it for one as well. And people just like, oh no, well, I'm tapped out and I've got all these 110Ks in hand and I can't do anything. And it's actually nuts how much work he puts in. And I mean, saying Teamwork Carver, he speaks for himself. He dominated a format for like years.
Yep,
And
legit.
the funny thing about Time to Fight is he's like a mini Shigesh in a way, isn't he? So
Yeah, it kind of is, but it's like the cool thing about it is that like normally the big downside obviously about using time to fight is that when you play the card, it's not really a powerful card you're playing off it. Like, oh, I'm
mm,
playing a 10k 3 drop. Oh, what's the point? And no
yeah,
one really bothered experimenting with yellow green builds with it just because of the fact that there was no real reason to go into yellow green until they obviously
yeah,
released the new multicolor cards. But like you're paying 1 energy, you play him, you get a swim with him, you revive
mm,
your Kaba for free, and then you're probably going to hit a 20k cauliflower, preferably the one with double strike, and you
yeah.
technically did that for 1 energy, so that's pretty good.
Mm.
It's
And
like,
I think the deck could get even better. Like I was talking with you about this earlier this week in terms of set 8 stuff when it comes out. I think we can safely assume that it's going to be green yellow cell based off the silhouettes and stuff like that.
yeah, yeah,
But if they bring out cards like Beerus the Fickle God and Broly Demonic Origins, the one where you can come into play as an energy if there's already another multicolor in there, and being able to play a card like that in this deck only opens the doors up even more. So I think this is just it's almost like a framework for an idea that's only going to get better and better as the support for green yellow builds grows. So I'm excited to see how it develops over time.
yeah. It's like because obviously the time to fight Goku does allow you to have access to so many cards.
Yeah.
Well, not like insanely powerful cards, but the fact that that it is that opportunity where Bandai might release a really broken cost card, like that's a 3 drop and
Mm.
maybe it's a 5k, so you win the game and might have give all your cards victory strike. You don't know this yet.
Oh,
Until...
wait, settle down, settle down.
true. My bad, my bad. But
Then again, with the other cards that they've released, who knows? So.
yeah, true. But like it's small stuff like that. Like you see this deck and it's just like a bunch of parts that like work really well together. Like I never feel
Mm.
like there's a card that's like too linear in the deck. Like
Yeah.
the fact that a lot of the cards that can be played both offensively and defensively feels insane. Like
Mm.
the two arrival cards mainly being the Android 18 and Krillin and the Broly, like they both can be used on either player's turn to like high value. Like one of the fun things with the Broly is that he's one of the few cards in the game that can actually put your opponent's leader in rest mode. The new
So
yellow.
funny.
Yeah, it's like I
The
had
amount of times I've done that on our tap, and they're just like, "What do you mean you can't do that?" I'm like, "It says cards. You can just choose anything."
yeah, like I was playing a game earlier this week with this deck, and I was versing a Marseille, and they decided to play a swing with one of the cards non with crit actually. And what I ended up doing is that I rivaled my Broly, tapped the leader so they can't swing with the leader. Then I also rivaled my Android 18, removed crit from the card, took the damage. I was like, yeah, enjoy the rest of your turn, mate. It's like it's
Yeah.
fine. It's like so many good things you can do, and then it's like back to the point with like time to fight. Every
Mm.
card like taps cards. Like your
Yeah.
Caulifla's tap cards, your Bardock for free taps a card. You get 4 cards tapped pretty quickly because half the time the opponent's leader is tapped. So it's like it just feels like everything just works together, and
Yeah, it's nuts how the synergy actually comes together as well. Because if you actually look at a lot of the yellow cards in the deck, so the Kaba, the Revoker, Troublemaker, and Explosive Spirit, they're all cards that have versatility both on the field but also in the drop. Because Time to Fight keeps it live regardless of where it is. So you can just freely get rid of Revoker, even though it's a negate. It goes to drop, and then immediately Time to Fight it back out, and you play it for 1. So there's a lot of little cute things that you can do with the deck that your opponent's like, I don't have to worry about that anymore. But you're like, oh, actually, Time to Fight makes it live.
exactly.
And then you can never underestimate how powerful the Caulifla, the Awakened Sister is.
Yep.
The fact that a lot of people don't realize you can actually grab it off Saiyan Teamwork Kaba because all it looks for is a Caulifla. So when you choose that, people are like, oh yeah, you can actually choose that.
That's a thing. Hello.
Yeah, it's actually a thing. Like I did well at our regionals in Melbourne a couple of weeks ago purely off this card and the idea of being able to shut down, energy and defensive plays just by freely playing those cards. And with how the meta is shaping up, regardless of what region you're in, you're either super aggressive or you're leaving tons of energy up for counterplays. And with the power of those counterplays, that's going to become more and more prevalent, especially cards like the 5-drop that turns into a 3-drop Vegeta.
Yep.
You've got the Gallic Cannon, I think it was.
Yeah, Garlic. Yeah, for one.
And just all the stuff from set 7, which like we were even running Vegeta Cruel. So
yeah,
being able to turn off one of those energies just through Troublemaker, the Universe 6, and then going into your plays from there is massive. So
Yeah, it's like it just
Sneaky good.
it's so good. Yeah, it's like following on that Vegeta the Cruel. It's like one of the another options of the deck that can run. Like it's the only counterplay we run in the main, just because Champa doesn't really have a spot in the main board. It's only for certain matchups. But
Yep.
Vegeta the Cruel, it just gives you that extra option.
Mm.
Like this deck, the cool thing about this deck is like it's just so like diverse in what you can do. You can go insanely
So true.
aggro. Like
Yep.
you can play so many cards for so little and shut your opponent out. And it gets around certain things that previous decks struggled with, like
Mm.
obviously the U6 variants of this deck. One of the weaknesses is like you can get around things in the combo step before they play the Awakened Sister. Well, we're just playing Awakened Sister with our Carbo, so that we get
Mm.
around that. And then as well, the Broly is that we can play that with Arrival, so that's even faster than whatever they're planning to respond with. It's like
Yeah.
there's too many ways this deck can just feel really oppressive.
Yeah.
And at the same time, even if your opponent is trying to like aggro you out, it has so many answers for that aggression as well. Like one of the most, again, Cover the Revoker is just disgusting, just being able to get the skill.
Mm.
Like and another example where it's diverse, I had a game versus Clash of Fates Goku. My opponent had two Krillin blockers out. It's like, all right, I use my leader skill, tap the other, tap one of them. Then I play my Cover the Revoker for one, thanks to Time to Fight Son Goku, and
Mm.
negated skill. So now not only is he like, no blockers, that means the 5-drop Goku's like just don't have to worry about it. I just go ham and killed him that turn. So it's
Yeah.
like it's good. It's really good.
Like I was doing to play with as well. Like that Bardock, the father and son, is actually nuts as well because being able to just free play a 15k is just out of this world. And being able to actually its cost is actually the way it's worded. I believe this is the interaction because its cost says that you have to tap down the card in order to play it. Like even if it gets like denial of hope or something like that, I think the card still gets tapped. And so, like for example, the that blue 2-drop counterplay, if it bounces back to your hand, you're like, all right, I'll just do it again,
Yeah.
and I'm just keep on tapping down cards.
Until you let me play my card,
Yeah, exactly. Like when I was playing this deck against, I can't remember who it was. I think it was a U6 deck. Like U6 is naturally faster than this deck. Like there's not many other decks that can outspeed U6, but
Yep.
because it does have that mid-range style to it, and you can play it a bit slower. You can set up energy for the Vegeta the Cruel. You can set up energy to be able to play SS Broly All Out Assault on the defensive turns. You can side into so much stuff that really manages the field. And then because you've got so much tap down for free, you can just manage their field quite effectively. So I found like that's probably one of the harder matchups, but it can be quite manageable depending on how you side for it. So it feels like it's got a pretty good spread against everything so far.
Yeah. Overall, it feels like it's a weird color combo because not too many people go into this color combo, but it just feels like it all really works really nicely, and it gives you a lot of options. Like I'm honestly surprised with how good Time to Fight feels. Like every time I play it, it feels just it just feels like so much value. It's essentially like it gives you a free 10k swing. That's fine, whatever. Like a lot of the times I'll end up if I've only seen one sane teamwork cover in the game I played with the deck, I'll play my Time to Fight. I'll swing with it. I'll just combo the cover off, like,
Yeah.
and then I'll just bring it back because I can do that because
Yeah.
Time to Fight exists.
We haven't even had the proper opportunity to actually explore the color combination as well, because you think about the opportunities that we've had in the past. You've had the starter deck Broly, which, because it was a Freezer's Army card,
Cold Bloodlust, yeah.
they put in Cold Bloodlust, and that package was like, what, like 7 cards or something like that. Wasn't even double digits.
Pretty
And then
much, yeah.
on the flip side, you've got I think it was the Eggman's deck, the
Chile one, yeah.
Chile and
Yeah,
Limo,
yeah.
and that was mostly yellow, but because it was a green leader, you had a
to
couple
run
of
the
green cards.
Yeah.
Nothing as even as this, where it just cannon it up. It looks like we've got
It's almost a 50-50 split.
about a 50-50 split. So maybe a little bit more yellow just purely because of like the super combos and stuff like that. But,
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, everything in the deck's got versatility. Just going card by card. I mean, Further Indestruction Champer's got a purpose in most decks, to be honest.
But because we have Mirror, it's a have to run him. Probably.
It's a have to run. Newfound Power Son Gohan, like what you find is that obviously if we don't have any other dedicated self-awakening, you can sometimes just lose straight up to Gogeta Shenron, but because we have so much self-awakening in here, it's just like you awaken so quickly, and being able to just stick a Son Gohan on the field and he can't be contested really does damage to the Shenron matchups. Teamwork Carver speaks to himself. Caulifla is another target that we can use, and she speaks for herself. Vegeta the Cruel really helps in those mid-range matchups against just clearing like the Evolve Awakened Sisters, clearing Shenron Figure of Majesties and Purungas and stuff like that. Even just simple things like time regulators. They're super useful, and pluses. Not you pure plussing, but they're more negging. Krillin and Android 18 actually
overperformer.
Oh my god! It was when we first, like you literally said to us when we first started talking about the deck, was what options does this card actually have? We had it as like a two of originally, but when we actually started to play it, you can't always play the Broly because it's a 2 cost, but just dropping that guy down, not only as a defensive thing, but also as an offensive thing, it's just insane. But also the multicolor card count is it's nice to have the extra options in there, because you never can, relying on 4 cards, especially when you need Vegeta the Cruel in the deck, it gets a little bit awkward.
Yeah.
SS Broly's like equal MVP. Like he doesn't, you don't need him every game.
It's the fact he exists.
Yeah, when you get him out, and you show the potential to your opponent, they respect it so hard. Like, most people will be looking at that at the effect and see draw a card and tap an energy or opponent's card down. But I can't tell you how good the Shigesh effect or the father son. Yeah, the blowing effect is like insane. I was playing against a Kidku the other day. They swung with a 30k 3-drop vanilla when they were on 3 energy, and they comboed up to like 90k, and I was just like, please do a rival, clear it. And the guy was like, you can't do that, and I was like, yeah, I can. And the man had sad face all over him, and just being able to do so many options just with one card's like a really nice feeling. He's just basically like, it reminds me a little bit of like Godstrike Beerus just on drugs, to be honest.
Yeah.
Just like he's nutty. He's nutty.
That's kind of like the same with the Android 18 and Krillin. It's like another variant of Godstrike Beerus. But like back to the Broly real quickly. The great thing about it is that like a lot of people are thinking, doesn't Kaba hard lose to counterplays? Well, yeah, it does. But you know who doesn't lose to any counterplay that currently exists? Broly. Your opponent will leave 2 energy up, and you can just swim with your leader. They'll be like, all right, I'm gonna save my stuff for Kaba when he comes out. Nah, fam, we're playing Broly actually. Nice counterplays you can't use. Yeah. And you just go ham. It's such a disgusting card.
Well, it literally looks like those are the magic numbers at the moment. I mean, I think a lot of people can agree, and it's pretty much the reason why like 14 hit is just not really played anymore, is if you're 4 or less or 20k or less, you really don't get too much play, because it gets hit by so much. Like Caulifla the Awakened Sister gets away with it because you can play her for 1, and in other decks you can play her for free. But I mean, in this deck here, he's a 25k, so he gets around stuff, and he's a 6-drop, so he gets around stuff again. So he's just this big beefy boy that you slap down, and not only that, but because he's got the synergy with the Champa, you can restand him with your leader. He does the draw effect, tap down that energy for defense, and then bang, you swing with a 35k double strike, and that's sometimes just enough to get people.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. The Bardock Father's Son speaks for himself as well. I mean,
free cards are free.
Yeah, free cards are free. They're good stuff. We have this other secret rare card that we
have to take out. I was
about.
too broken.
So it's too good.
I guess it was a surprise,
a bit of a surprise.
What a great
catch us the gnats. Catch us the gnats.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, we've already spoken about Kaba the Revoker and his versatility.
Yep.
He hasn't had much play as of yet, but I think with the defensive cards that are going to be available.
He's always kind of been like a sideboard card for like certain matchups, but
I think he's going to become a little bit more prevalent.
Yeah, playing him for one is very good.
Exactly. Troublemaker of Universe 6 is always good. The Awakened Sister and the All Out Assault, they kind of can be a little bit telegraphed.
Yep.
But Troublemaker really forces people to do stuff. You can slap her down for 2 or even 1 off Son Goku time to fight. And it makes people spend 2 energy, It makes them slap down Denial of Hope or Vegeta the Cruel or, Because the only way, it's a little bit annoying when they play the Gohan.
That's the only time it kind of sucks. That's the only time.
But outside of that, she's pretty solid, to be honest. And she helps with just getting you to that self-awakening, forcing that self-awakening guaranteed turn 3. And And Explosive Spirit, you know, he does his job. He comes in when you want to play a little bit more defensively. The synergies with being able to tap down stuff with Bardock Father Son and the leader card, and then just slapping him down for 1, super clean. And he's difficult to get rid of as well. He's that pesky number.
Yeah. Just
Caulifla Awakened Sister is, you know, she's a given. She's a god card. Waifu babe.
Yeah.
Time to Fight. I think we've gushed about him enough.
Mate, you know he's getting serious, dude. He's taking off his blue like cape thing, man. He's literally, it's his time to fight, dude. It's his time.
And I can imagine, I haven't, like, obviously we don't have the cards in person yet, but I can imagine the amount of times that don't know the deck. You slap him down, they pick up the card, they look at the card, and then they look at the drop and they're like, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is what I've got to expect, you know?
Pretty much. Good thing we're not leaking our deck or anything before Nats. Otherwise, people would know what it does, you know?
Exactly. Mirror's godly, you know, dual attack, millions of power. I mean, speaks for itself. It's been dominating the format for forever.
Yep. And super combos and cold blast. That's
it's a given. I mean, there's some decisions that some people might be like, why haven't you played this? Why haven't you played that? I mean, I know a couple of the common ones is Planet Vegeta.
There's honestly no room. Like you see like every card in the deck and you realize, wait a minute, pretty much every card besides like 3 cards aren't Saiyans, or 4 or 5 cards aren't Saiyans. But then it's like, but why would we use Planet Vegeta to look through our deck when we use Time to Fight to look through the drop area? It's just common sense, you know. It's obvious.
I mean, when you've got Teamwork Kaba, he can grab so much from the deck, but he's not that kind of card back in old formats where if you don't find him, the strategy goes to crap.
Yeah.
I mean, it is very much like if you don't find him sweet, we can easily switch it up, and he only gets stronger and stronger as the game goes on because you can start dropping multiples of him just out of the blue.
Yep.
And we originally did have Kale, the SR Kale from set 2.
Set 2, yeah.
Like, and I've only had one instance where I've had enough out where I can just start free playing her. But you know, she's a weird spot. I mean, she took up the spot of Vegeta the Cruel, and Vegeta the Cruel has a bit more relevance at the moment. Yeah.
It's like in my testing as well. Honestly, I never played the Kale when she was still in the deck. But it was more of the fact that you wanted to hit it off the Kaba really, just as another target, and it can get to the point where you can free play it. But at the same time, Vegeta, like at an optimal point, you'd have 2 Kabas out, and then that KO would be a 2-drop. But then Vegeta's just by default a 2-drop already, and he kind of does the same thing, but it's more of the fact you can use Vegeta into response on your opponent's turn, where obviously Kale is like, I have to take up like my turn to, you know, play this card that's kind of suboptimal compared to the rest of the deck. Like obviously it's a cute combo, you know, you play your Bardock for free, then you play your Kale and Kale. That's a cute combo you can do, but that's like, it's a cute combo, you know.
Yeah. If anything, I'd put Kale on the side, and then you've got those niche matchups where she's like super useful.
Yeah.
But more often than not, like the Kaba comes out because he's in tapped. When he gets played off Time to Fight, he usually gets cleared pretty quickly.
Yep.
And you know, you don't really want to cast him for 2 because it feels bad when you don't hit the SR Caulifla. But if you hit the Troublemaker, it's like, yeah, sure, I would have played her anyway. But he's a really good card. It's underestimated how good he is, and he will cop a lot of counterplays.
He will.
But he's not the be all end all of the deck. Like,
not at all.
It really does come down to the versatility of Time to Fight and how powerful these new arrival cards are for green yellow. I mean, it's actually nuts. And then as with any good Broly Awakened Threat deck, you know, Mirror just comes in and does what he does.
Yeah. But I think we've talked a lot about the main board because like the main board's just so good. But So the sideboard, I think the sideboard's still a little work in progress. I think the main cards that 100% stick in the sideboard, I'd imagine, would be definitely the Negates and the TN. They're self-explanatory. The West-Kai I put in there because like we were saying, Universe 6 does go a little faster than us. West-Kai Keep and Watch is just another answer that you can use. Just bounce back there, like back how I was saying before. One of the weaknesses of the normal U6 engine is that they have to combo their Cauliflas out. This kind of punishes that one weakness and returns it to hand.
Yeah. We have been seeing a lot more people like having some success with the Keep and Watch cards. So
yeah,
it's quite nice.
It is very nice, very nice. Frost is in here. Look, it hasn't been used yet, but it's more for Janemba / Shenron. It's like an answer card for both. It's really good. Vegeta Strive would be the best. Hand-in-hand synergy with Time to Fight Goku. He literally, you play him for free off Time to Fight, and then he untaps the energies for Time to Fight. It just kills. This is more for deadly defenders. That's all it's really in there for. But the fact that synergy is insane is just like it's too hard not to run that.
Well, you can clear a lot of stuff. Like if I was playing against like Gogeta, Shenjita, sorry, or any of the Shenron ramp stuff, when they slap down that the Gogeta, for example, this deck finds it quite awkward to get rid of. But if you have Champa and you've played the Champa and he gets tapped down, you come up to 4 cards and you've got some options, because chances are he's going to be in that rest mode. So you've got, you can either play Krillin and Android H to remove the barrier, and then 2 Time to Fight into Son Goku, assuming you've got the cards.
Yep.
Or you can just straight up play Vegeta striving to be the best for 2 and untap 1. Or play Son Goku Time to Fight, grab the Vegeta striving to be best, which you probably, if you played the matchup right, he should be on the drop already. And then, play that for free, and then you untap it. So technically,
it's literally a free play.
It's literally a free play. Yeah, you play for 1, you get the Vegeta out, he untaps 1, and you're like, sweet. All right, now I've got rid of this big threat, and pretty much all you've done is clear, is maybe nick me a couple of cards, but I've cleared your board and you've critted yourself. So, and the deck's aggro enough where it only needs like 1 or 2 cards. If you get a mirror off the Gogeta, you can just come in and finish them off with a dual attack. So it's got a lot of potential. Some of the cards that's not been shown in here, I mean, there's so many cards that you can fit in the side. One was the counter Vegeta. Being able to choose like the Broly to back to deck.
Yep.
Refilling Caulifla the Awakened Sister back into deck, so it's more viable off the Carbers. Because as your deck size goes down, looking top 10 is a lot of cards, and if those Awakened Sisters are back in there, chances are you're hitting one. So
yeah,
and if you go Carver into another Carver and it's like turn 3 or turn 4 against Janemba, chances are you're going to hit quite a few of those Cauliflas. I was playing one game against Janemba where I did 3 Carbers in 1 turn, and I hit all 3 SR Cauliflas, and the guy was just like, "That's nuts, that's nuts." And that was the game where I still had the Kales in the deck, so I was able to play 2 of her for free.
Yeah. That's
so that was clean.
Game.
It was clean, so clean.
Like, again, the point of this is getting out there. It's kind of like, because someone's got to come out with this idea. Like, if it's not us, someone else got to find out. And like, just showing this to you guys, having the ideas, that means we can, like, some people can say like, we can try this, this, and this. So it's just getting the idea out there so everyone can see this, and like, hopefully someone comes up with the god idea, dude, and then we steal it and claim it for ourselves.
Yeah, like we fully acknowledge that this is bare bones at the moment, but the idea is there. Like the original idea when I put on when the SS Broly All Out Assault came out. And I put up on the community group, I was like, so what cards actually can restand a battle card for free, on your own turn? And so I was looking at like the set 1 Vegeta, set 1 Frieza leader.
The Frieza leader, yeah.
You've got the Shenron leader for the triple attack.
Of course.
You've got the
fired
up Son Goku, Son Gohan, sorry.
That card got cut. It got cut.
It got cut. So like, it was a fun idea. But the unfortunate thing is, end of turn, you tap down their energy, but they just tap it back up again. So it was a cute idea, but when we actually realized it, I think it was a funny thing, because I actually originally thought the second effect of Broly only did battle cards, and then when I realized it was any cards, I was like, this card's like 50 times better than I thought it was. So.
I'm just like, you're watching the first game I played with the deck. It's like, wait, why'd you tap his energy for? It's like, it says any card.
I was like, holy crap! Like, it was absolutely nuts. So. This is definitely bare bones to start with, but like the more people recognize the combination, and that Time to Fight is actually a card to consider now.
Hey, good thing I have 2 foil ones, am I right?
Oh, man, I got it for like 10 cents foil, just like people were dumping that crap. Yeah.
Hey, you want to quickly buy them out before we upload this video, all the foil ones? Only foil.
Do it real quick.
Yeah. So I think that's I think we've talked about this deck for ages now. So if you're wondering what we're getting off to, we're buying out those Time to Fights. But Yeah, we're definitely doing something different with the channel as well in the future. Probably not in this video, so this video's gone for a bit already. But we're planning to do some. Me and Matt will be doing some gameplay videos with this in the
Yep.
future, where we talk about like how to actually play the deck. Because this deck's actually like insane. Like I think a lot more people are realizing that this Broly leader is the best leader, like one of the best leaders in the game, like by far. There's a reason why Bandai chose this card. Definitely not because it's just Broly as like one of the gold medal cards you can get. It's like this leader's actually ridiculously good, and they literally printed cards for it. So Bandai is telling us to play Broly. So
It's actually nuts. That gold Broly, whoever gets that is sell it for $5,000, I tell you, because that's.
oh yeah, true. That's
Oh,
the money right there. Because
yeah.
unless they ban this card, unless they ban Broly, that card's gonna be the money card.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I think that's
That's
it.
pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, thank you guys for sticking around for this video. Look, we thank you if you made this far. If you didn't just click off the video after you saw their profile, thank you. But yeah, no, so thanks again, Matt, for collabing with me on this idea, and thanks for your time today talking about the God deck.
No worries, man. I'm excited to see how it kind of develops over time.
Yeah, it should be good. It should be good. But anyway, guys, that's it for today. I will see you all next time. This is True Pyro Shad signing out. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.